Hey guys, how you doing? Well, as you can see, I have the trailer pulled out. It's been under the tree, so it's got tons of crap on it. But the reason I have it out is, I think I mentioned, this crank up trailer was built on a old boat trailer. You can see the way the bottom beam there is in a V, and it had these on here. Now, these are the old bumpers from the trailer, and then they just pounded some metal and put it on there to hold the trailer lights. The problem was it got rust in there, it didn't make a good ground, and the trailer lights would flicker and not work very well. So I welded up a couple of brackets just with some square tubing and some steel plate, drilled some holes in it. I got one there ready to go on, and I'm going to put the lights on there and I'll spray paint it real quick. But it'll, one, it's going to lift the lights up just a little bit higher, which I think is a good thing. And two, it's going to make a good ground and be a better anchor for the trailer lights. Those, since they were round and they were just held on, let me set this down, by these plates, sometimes this would actually spin sideways if it wasn't tight, and it just didn't work. So I got everything made. Sorry I didn't film any of that, and when I'm welding, I'm gonna set the camera off there to the side, so I don't know if it'll burn out my camera or not. I'm using a cheap Harbor Freight Chicago welder. I bought that a while ago. I needed to do some welding and real mild stuff, and I bought it, and it's worked fine for what I need to do. It runs on 110, so not real high powered, but it works for what I need to do. I just need to get a good bead on there so it doesn't come off. Just going to make sure that these are level. That's not held into place real tight with this C-clamp here, so I want to tack it real quick and get that in there. I do have a helmet, and I am going to put on a jacket real quick, because I got a little sunburn, welder's burn from welding without a jacket on. I don't have a welder's jacket, so I'm going to get my ground clamp here, which is all tangled up. So I should be able to clamp this right up on top. Should be fine. Plug the welder in. Helmet. That's good. Where I throw my jacket. I'll probably get a little burn on my legs, but I'm okay with that. I just want to get this in place, move everything out of the way. Might help if I turn on my welder. I got it set to a pretty good speed, I think. Actually, I might turn it down just a little bit. Do this. Let's give it a shot. Ouch. Guess I should have put my gloves on. Doesn't tickle. Do, do, do. One thing I did discover with this welder is that the wire that they give you for this welder seems to be very cheap. And so I don't want the camera directly on the weld, so hopefully it doesn't break it. But the wire they give you for the welder that comes with it is really cheap. And once I got some better wire for this, some quality wire, it really seemed to work much better. So do this, and then I can grind it all and make it look pretty. Throw a little paint on it. Really should get a jacket, put some pants on, but I just want to get this done. So I do want to turn my helmet up. Because I was seeing spots. No. So that's it. Just trying to get this ready for field day. I might try to fix, if you look, the trailer hitch on my ATV, when you put weight on it, it just bends it right down. I need to bend it back up and then maybe put a couple of supports on it so the weight of stuff doesn't pull it down, because that's practically dragging on the ground. It just makes a mess. So oh well, keep working. Doing a little bit. Okay, so the brackets are on, the lights are mounted. I haven't been able to test the wiring yet because I need to, the ATV doesn't have a plug, so I need to pull the ATV out, spin the trailer around, and then hook the truck to the trailer so I can test the wiring and make sure. Like I said, I've got it quick disconnected, and I believe that's the ground, so I'm going to put a self-tapping screw in there. But yeah, just cleaned it up a little bit. I got some paint on the light. I had it laying on the ground, so I'll just have to wipe that off. But it's a Sunday, and field days in a couple of weeks. So I did some work on the trailer the other days. I shot some video for. But I think I'm going to try to set up the antenna and the yagi. I already assembled part of it the other day. But I think I'm going to put it up and try to do the cookie crumble QRP contest with it, and just see if I can do it by myself in the driveway. The driveway, this is about as level of a spot that I have actually on my property. So, and I think I have enough room between that tree. Once it's stood up, I don't think it'll hit that tree, but I'm going to have to I'll put the rotator on, I'll put the boom on, and then I'll raise it up to kind of see where it's at. And then go from there. But yeah, I just want to play with it. I just finished making chocolate chip cookies inside, so I already had a chocolate chip. Well, actually, I had 2 chocolate chip cookies. It's 11:30, and I already had chocolate chip cookies. Had pancakes for breakfast. So, but yep, we're gonna do this and try to get it set up. Like I said, it's still filthy. I probably should power wash it before field day.
Through our veins, through our minds, all the way till the morning light.
Well, before I go anywhere else, I want to tip it up make sure I'm going to clear the house as it goes up. I might have to take my flagpole down and then see if I'm anywhere near the tree. So that's the next step, I think. So it's up, and I'm plenty far enough away from everything. So I've set the trailer up down over the hill before, but the tower literally isn't any taller than the hill. So I think this will help with my signal, and south, north, I should be able to boom east without any trouble at all, or west up over the hill. I think this is going to be a great location. So now I need to lower it and start assembling the boom. So now I need to rotate the boom around so that side's over here, and then I can drop it down and put the rest of the arms on.
Love is flowing through our veins, through our minds, all the way till the morning light.
Let me get my meter. Well, I got the antenna set up, but I'm getting a 4-to-1 SWR, actually a 5-to-1 SWR. So let's see where the dip is. See if I can tell. But it looks flat. It doesn't look like there's a dip. Oh, there's a dip. Yeah, but the dip only goes down to 4, which isn't great. Let's go. November 3, Whiskey Sierra.
November 3, station please again.
November 3, Whiskey Sierra.
November 3, QSB again.
November 3, Whiskey Sugar. November 3, Whiskey Sugar.
November 3, Whiskey Sugar. Hello there, good morning. Please copy 5-5 on the top with QSB.
QSL, I'll give you a 5-6 into Pennsylvania.
QSL on the 5-6 PA. November 3, Whiskey Sierra. Please share the contact 7-3.
7-3.
QRZ.
So just out of curiosity, I hooked up my end fed as a sloper up into that tree, and it's about 1-to-1 SWR, but I can't hear the stations that I'm hearing on the beam of. I figured that was the case, but I was just curious. It should be. I'm not happy with the tune on the beam. It's higher than it should be, but I know the measurements and everything are right. So that antenna is 30-40 years old, I think, something like that. It's pretty old. It's as old as the trailer is. So, but yeah. Well, it has been a long day of testing and changing things and cranking this thing up and down about, I don't know, a bazillion times it feels like. So I'm in the process now of taking it down. The best I could get on 20 meters was 4 to 1. Now I have the KX2 with a tuner in it, and I made contacts in North Dakota, Louisiana, California. Made a bunch of contacts all over the place. It does seem the bands are kind of rough today. I guess I should ham harder. I'm only using 10 watts. This antenna would probably be so good with 100 watts. But it's, you know, with 10 watts, even though it's a yagi, and I got good signal reports. One guy gave me a 2.2 but said I was perfectly clear, but there was no noise where he was. So if you have a noise floor, you might not be able to hear me. But what happened was, somehow when I put this together, when I marked it and then put it back together, this element was too long and I had to shorten it, and there were already holes there for it to shorten. So I did it and remarked it with tape so I know how to insert it. But I tried moving the booms, reflector and director around and changing some stuff on there. Like I said, had this thing up and down. I can't tell how many times, but it was rough. Like my shoulder and stuff are sore because I've been cranking it up and down so often. So I'm in the process of taking it down now. I think I do know a little bit easier way to take it down and put it together now, at least this section. So what I'll do with the boom, with this part of the boom at, you know, workable height, I'll take the ends off, and then I can drop this off as well pretty quickly, and then I'll put it up again, rotate it, bring it down one last time, and then I can take everything else off. So that's what I'm doing. But yeah, measurements, you can see the tape measure and wrench and everything. I was trying my best to get this damn thing to work properly. It's a great antenna. I mean, I definitely can hear more stations than I can on my end-fed. I actually took the end-fed back down because there is no comparison on distant stations. There were so many stations that I could hear on this, but I couldn't hear on the end-fed, and I was able to make contacts with a few of those stations. Well, I'm gonna wrap the video up here. I'm gonna send Augie in. I'm gonna clean up all the stuff, park the trailer where it needs to be parked. But things don't always go the way you planned. I wanted to do the cookie crumble QRP contest, but the antenna just wasn't working, and I spent so much time fixing it, and I believe I finally have resolved the issue, and I marked it so when it goes back together again, it should work properly. I'm going to go make some notes, but we'll be using this at field day. It definitely helps for those distant stations, and it'll be fun to use. But I mean, the majority of our antennas are going to be wire antennas. I would think that the majority of them are, but hopefully this will give us a little bit of an edge during field day. and be able to make some other contacts. Like I said, I think this antenna is going to be great for 100 watts. I think with this antenna at 100 watts, you'll make a lot more contacts further out than you will with a wire antenna in 100 watts or a vertical in 100 watts. It's just, you know, it's a yagi, you know, that's to be expected. But it is a pain. It's a pain. I will say it. I would love to try one of the buddy pull spider beams to see how easy it is to set up instead of this, how labor intensive. To me, this is pretty labor intensive. There's just not an easy way to do it because the boom has to be so long for 20 meters. I mean, and if you think about it, you make a dipole for 20 meters, it's really not that long. Even if this was a 2-element beam for 20 meters, you know, just a 2-element beam, it would be so much easier to use than the 3-element. I wonder what the difference would be. I'll have to look online for a calculator or something to see what the difference would be in a 2-element beam versus a 3-element beam. And maybe we could convert this to a 2-element beam. I don't know, that might work. I wonder if I could just use those two. Now you're making me, I'm not putting it back up, but now I'm wondering if I did that, if I could just use the 2 sections without the director, just the radiator and the reflector, and make a 2-element beam that's shorter, cut the boom down, make it nice and easy so I could just pick it up and set it on there, clamp it down, and be good to go. The only thing is that you'd have to strap the coax around so the coax wasn't swinging around wildly, but that's an idea for another day. But I would be willing to try that. I think that would make this a lot easier. If you could do that, I bet you this would make this a much easier portable antenna that you could take to, like, you know, drive it somewhere and do a POTA with or something like that. But there are much these days, this trailer's 30 years old or more. These days there's so much lighter materials and so much more compact antennas, like the buddy pull. Could you imagine taking 2 buddy pulls and figuring out how to do a directional dipole with that? That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's a mismatch of me playing with this thing, but that's all I got. This is Tango Oscar Mike 73. Take care.
Tango Oscar Mike